So I wanted to make sure that I was all the way live, but I am all the way live. Welcome to a Moment of Harmony on our regularly scheduled time of Saturday mornings. We're a little bit after the 10 o'clock hour than we normally are. I definitely had a lot of things going on this morning. I'm always grateful for Mommy Mercy and super duper always grateful for you showing in, showing up, showing out here at a Moment of Harmony. I'm going to adjust this just a sec because I'm going to move my seat. I'm sorry. I just want to get super comfortable because I have so much I want to get into today, and I'm hoping to not do like a very long moment. Let me move some of this stuff over, and that way I can get closer to you guys. So, welcome again. Welcome to a Moment of Harmony. We are in a manifestation moments series. We have been manifesting more. It has been a wild couple of weeks in August, right? Bringing August in. I guess like we are in the second week, we're already in the middle. And it's been pretty wild. So I really wanted to a big check-in with us all here at a Moment of Harmony today. I really want to make sure that our spirits are great, that we feel grounded, that we feel motivated to continue to manifest. Manifestation is always about being on top of your spiritual gain and your game. And sometimes being on top of your spiritual game doesn't mean that you feel like your best self. It just feels like you're not letting go of who it is that you are and what matters the most to you. You're not stopping the momentum. You're always mindful of the momentum. So I definitely want us to be certain about us being mindful of the momentum here in our moment. So we again, just to reiterate, we're in a manifestation moment. We are manifesting more. We're going all the way to the door of my 40th birthday. I'm in the last year of my 30s. It is the last year of a lot of things, and we together have touched and agreed that we are just getting rid of the things that no longer serve us, and not like a New Year's resolution or not like this no longer serves me and I'm releasing it. More so that I'm ready for another chapter of self, another level of beingness. I'm ready to truly elevate. And so sometimes that doesn't look like one thing. It doesn't look like, oh, I'm going to get rid of this job or I'm going to stop being in this toxic relationship. Sometimes, or when we're talking about leveling up, we're not talking about releasing a thing. We're talking more so about releasing a mindset, a way of being. Good morning, hey Mr. Carter, with your top fans badge. I see you. We're talking about releasing a mindset, a lifestyle, a setback, a hold up, right? We're talking about a whole way of being. And sometimes that gets very arduous. It gets very heavy. It can be quite labored in the process of making all of that happen. But we are going to be committed. We are getting all the way through. And you know what? I forgot to do my D&D. I wonder if I can do it while I'm live. Let me see. I'm sorry, y'all. I am going to, yes, go ahead, updates. I was able to put my D&D on while we so Mommy Mercy, because I had it on last week, and for those that were here, I still was getting interrupted with calls, so I'm definitely not going to not put it on today, um, because if they had a little bit of come through when it was on, I only God knows what can happen, right? Hi and peace and welcome, and I'm so excited and happy to have you. So let's get all up into it. Okay. Welcome to a Moment of Harmony again. Thank you for all your love and light, all your beauty in the chat, all the great energy for everyone that sends the DMs and the inboxes, and you guys are always so amazing. We are in manifesting moments. This today's episode is entitled Blessing Boomerang. So I really want to get into that. We're going to talk about just bringing things back around to us and how manifesting, thank you so much, and how manifesting has so much to do with bringing things back around to us. I have a couple of shout outs really quickly. Big birthday shout out to the BD. Happy birthday to the Lion, the Leo. Um, I have another shout out. Okay, so in the past week, this is a part of why I wanted to like really get comfortable because I want to like really. Here's the thing. Last week, I went to the funeral of a close friend, right? Many of you know that almost 8 years ago, or maybe 8 years ago exactly, about 8 years ago, I lost my first sibling, my baby brother, to violence, to gun violence, right? He was robbed and he was murdered. And there was a young man, there was this big uproar around my brother's murder here in the city, if you live in Baltimore City. there was this big uproar around his murder because my brother was a very talented being. He was a very social being. He was an advocate for the city. He was in the Algebra Project, and he was, he was doing a lot of work with the mayor, and he was boxing, and he was at the design school, and he was a musician. There was all types of, and he was only 19, right? So when that happens, it all got very, very, a great deal of an uproar. So what ended up happening was he had a lot of his fellow or his co-advocates or his fellow community members, classmates, all came in to say, to bring like a lot of love to him. There was one young man in particular named Rayshawn Moore who was very, very intentional about making sure that my family understood like all of the work that my brother had done, because he was young, so he did a lot of things with his friends, he did a lot of things with his his peers, and he just wanted everyone to know like how amazing my brother was. And he made a promise to my family, and my mother spoke about this recently. Peace, hello to everyone, thank you, and welcome, welcome, welcome. He made a promise to my family that he would always keep my brother's name alive, and he, for the first 3 years of my brother's transition, the years following his transition, he would do block parties in the name of my brother. He did a, what did he do? He would do block parties. He did a production company. They did a music production company and named it after my brother. He was really amazing. And as life would have it, he would grow up and become extremely successful, Mr. Rayshawn Moore, in all of the arts and all of the advocacy. And he actually became a community liaison back at one of my littles elementary school. Life is beautiful that way. Last at July the 28th, about a couple of weeks ago, Rayshawn transitions in a car accident at 26 years old. My heart goes out to his family. My heart goes out to all of the community members that were touched by everything that went on with him. But I wanted to do something very important for him here on my platform. I wanted to. So Rayshawn Moore is a name that I know many people haven't heard, at least from my mouth, a lot, because I just am always super grateful, and I just show my gratitude when I see people, right? I show my gratitude, I show my love. I don't always feel the need to like be overtly like this person, I know this person and I've done this with that person. My thing is be real in the moment, and you don't have to worry about all the other moments, right? So thank you so much. So what we did was, when he passed away, um, it was very crazy because he's so young, right? He's 26 years old, much older than what my brother was when he transitioned, but so very young. And when he passed away, I made it because of how hard he worked. And this is just going to tie in. I know this sounds like a lot, but it ties into a lot of what the moment is going to be about today, and we're going to get right to that. But he made it his business to keep his word about putting Victorious into things, making sure that Victorious stayed alive. And it's so ironic because here I am with Rayshawn gone now, and wanting to have the mission of paying that forward, of making sure that the world also knew who he was and what he stood for, and how he was a man of his word, and how he was a man of the community, and he was a man of love. So shout out to Rayshawn Moore. May he be resting in peace. May he and Victorious be changing, keep being agents of change wherever they are right now, together. And I feel where they are, but I know everyone has their own beliefs. So shout out to Rayshawn Moore. I also want to say this second thing that's going to tie into everything today. I promise, bear with me. At the beginning of the year, I also lost another brother, right? To my other brother died of a heart attack. He died in April. And I had some family members, a family member by marriage and her son, spent a lot of time with our family in the hospital during the days that my brother was on life support. She was very instrumental in just making sure that we were good. It was very surprising because we are family by marriage. We're always very kind and cordial to each other. But here we were at a really, 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 really dark spot as a family. And she kind of kicked it up a notch, in support and love and care. And I just always was like, I'll never forget that, right? I'll never forget that she took the time, we have family that are blood, we have blood cousins that weren't really at the hospital the whole time, people that couldn't get off work or whatever. No blame, no pointing. But I'm just saying it was just something I won't forget. And then come to find out, Rayshawn is her blood family. So we eventually found out that she was blood related to um, this young earth angel, Rayshawn Moore, that was so loving and attentive to my family during the aftermath of Victoria's murder. And so here we are in April of 2025, and she's showing up for us. She's kicking it up a notch for us. She's like really being there for us as we lost Majestic. Shout out to Victoria's Majestic forever. And then here we are. Here I am last Tuesday, August the 11th, at Rayshawn's funeral, and I'm there comforting the same cousin, showing up for her. My mom spoke at the service. Like, we really had to come through and be there to make sure that she was good. And so this is what I'm saying about universal manifestations. This is what I'm saying about the blessing boomerang, because we're going to get into all of that today. But I did want to give just a very special shout out to Rayshawn and his family, all the work that he's done. He's literally a Baltimore legacy, or left the Baltimore legacy. He's a Baltimore legend here amongst his peers and amongst all the advocacy workers of the city. So I would salute him just as a fellow advocate, but I'm definitely saluting him as a brother and a friend and now an ancestor, right? Kudos to you. So moving forward, I was just looking at the dynamic of that. Like, hey, the beginning of the year, we're all like trying to gather ourselves. We're all coming to terms with the death of a very close family member. And someone shows up in a capacity they've never shown up for us before. And someone just demonstrates themselves to be a person that they didn't really even have to be. And then we turn around and we're at, months later, and we're in the same position. We're now returning the love, we're now giving the support, we're now giving the words, right? We're now giving the hugs. And universal manifestation works in a very reflective way. And so that was a very long intro because I really wanted to give Rayshawn his flowers, not only when he was here, but now as he has transitioned in his family. But I also want to I want us all to see this reflective mirror, if you will, of where we are and where we want to be, where we are and where we can be, and how we show up in the real now greatly dictates how life shows up in the real later. Okay, today's episode, blessing boomerang, right? I have a saying that it's all a boomerang. It all comes back, right? Life is a big old boomerang, and I always joke, y'all know I got a little bit of the South in me, A-Town. But I always say the boomerang always comes back around, so you might just want to sprinkle a little bit of sugar on it, okay? Because when it comes back to you, make it sweet, okay? And I say that all not only about karma and the way that life works out, but also what you're asking for, what you're asking to be presented to you, what you're asking to be available to you, what you're asking to be yours. Is greatly dictated on what you are giving. It's greatly dictated on what you are doing. It's greatly dictated on what you are planting for others and for this life that you want so much back from. So I've worked a great deal for all of you that are new to the moment today. I've worked a great deal in this Manifesting Moment series on with The Secret as it pertains to the laws of attraction. I've studied and taken a lot of the coursework that I've curated my curriculum around. I put it greatly, peace, hello. I put it greatly around The Secret, and the laws of attraction is where I've gotten a lot of the laws of attraction information from. The movies, the documentaries, the books, and all that jazz, right? And so that a lot of the moments today are coming, or a lot of the development of the moments today are coming out of this little calendar book that I got for my birthday called The Secret Daily Teachings by Rhonda Byron. And I'm just going to read a quick excerpt out of that, and then we're going to go all the way into my moment, and we're going to get more into this blessing boomerang as it pertains to manifesting, as it pertains to creating, as it pertains to having. Okay, so let's get into that really quickly because I don't want this to be a super long moment. I have a lot of things to do today. I'm sure you do. And so I want to go ahead and get into that. So it says one of the biggest things you can do to change your circumstances around money is to take 10% of what you receive and give it away. This is called the spiritual law of tithing, and it is the greatest action you can take to bring more money into your life. The spiritual law of money. There's also a book that I really love called I wish I could think of the author right now, but it's called the Spirit of Money. Is it the spirit of the energy of money? I always mess it up, but I think it's the spirit of money, and it speaks very similarly to this, right? And so in this excerpt, they talked about the spiritual laws of tithing, right, and giving out what it is that you want to receive, and we're going to get into that more for the magnitude of manifestation, but pretty much what this excerpt is saying is like the quickest way to get money is to give money. The quickest way to have an abundance is to give in an abundance, is to sow in an abundance. Give out what you expect to receive back. And that sounds really so simple, right? Like, duh, whatever, what I want, I give back. But I really wanted to make that more practical for us. And I also wanted to make it understand how massive that weighs on our manifestation abilities, on what we bring in, what we're able to bring in, what we're able to achieve for ourselves. So we're going to get into the blessing boomerang right today. We're going to get into giving, and what it does mean to give in good faith, sowing a sacrifice, how are we going to be doing that, and then self-defining perfection and what that looks like in our manifestation. So again, I'm going to try to move quite quickly. I'm sorry for those who normally may take notes and are just like, you're moving too fast, but I do have a lot of things I have to get into today, and I did not want to miss our moment. So the blessing boomerang, if I'm moving too fast for you, please always catch me on the playback. All the videos are available for you to come back and enjoy them, take part in them, pick them apart, use them, share them whenever you may need, okay? The moments are for you and for me. So let's get all up into it. The blessing boomerang. Okay. Again, like I said about my saying, everything comes back, so you might as well sprinkle a little bit of sugar on it, okay? So that when it comes back to you, it's digestible, it's easy, it's kind. May all the words that come back to me be kind. May all the deeds that come back to me be kind. May all the resources that come back to me be kind. And the way to ensure that is that how I sent them out is how they'll come back to me. And that's the same thing with manifestation. The requests that we send out, the commands, the demands, the desires, what we send out comes back to us in the same way we put it on out. If you do not like how things are coming back to you, if you do not like how things are showing up at your front door, how did you package it when it left? What did it contain when you sent it out? And a lot of times we are not as cognizant of the how as we are of the what. And I want us to always know the how and the what are reflective in manifestation. They are one and the same. They have the same weight, the same magnitude, and the same magnetism. They pull together. So, the blessing boomerang, giving in good faith, right? A lot of us would say that we give in faith, right? We ask for things, or we imagine things, we envision things, thinking that we're going to have them, wanting them. And we think that we're doing it in a way of want, or we're doing it in a way of, let me see, reception. We're really a lot of times wanting things out of desperation. Sometimes we're wanting things out of fear. Sometimes we're wanting things out of lack, or lust, or we want something from a low vibration, and it starts to change how the big things come back to us. So when I say giving in good faith, we're talking about also retrieving in good faith, manifesting in good faith. We're changing the way that we get it. So here's the thing. This is the one thing I want us to keep in mind when it comes to giving in good faith. Is that I'm not putting good out into the world because I so desperately want good to come back into me. I'm putting good into the world because I think the world is deserving of good. Because I think the world is in need of good. Because I think that good has a place. I think that good is the priority. And therefore, what I get back doesn't come to me temporarily. It doesn't come to me transactionally. It comes back to me because I put things out because I think they deserve to be there. I think they have a space. I think that the world is worthy. And therefore, what comes back to me will come back in a space and a sense of worthiness. Thank you so much. It will come back in a sense of graciousness. It will come back in a sense of receptivity, space, openness, right? So giving in good faith does not mean I'm giving because I do believe that it's going to come back to me great. I'm giving in the faithfulness of myself, meaning that I am faithful to the goal of greatness. I am faithful to the goal of expansion. I am faithful to the goal of glory, abundance, and overflow. That's the good faith that I'm giving in. I'm not faithful only to my reward or to my profit or to my benefit. It becomes the difference between transitioning treasure, which is why we give out. This is what giving in good faith. It becomes the difference between transitioning treasure versus transaction. And a lot of times we ask for things in transaction. Even if we fast, even when we sacrifice, it's like, I'm giving these things because I want something back. I'm changing away. When we look at manifestation, it's like, oh, I see the home, I see the job, I see, the wedding or the marriage, I see the family, I see the finances. Like, I'm seeing these things, and so what is it I have to do to get those things? Giving in good faith is more of what is it that I have to be to have these things. Do you hear the difference in that? What do I have to do to get these things? So transactional. It doesn't change anything, it doesn't transition anything about the entire life, about the entire experience. What do I have to do to get these things is who is different than who do I have to be to have them, right? To have them be a part of who I am, to be open to them, to be free, to have space where these things can flow into my life. Do you hear the transitioning difference in the two? So, what you have to offer into the world, we're not coming from a place of lack. I'm not asking for things because I don't have things. I'm not asking for things because without them I'll be nothing. I'm not asking for things because they'll make me somebody and I'm nobody now. I'm asking to extend and expand upon the greatness that I already am. That becomes a transitioning of treasure. This is how we ensure that we don't run out. And a lot of times we're coming from a place of lack. Please give me this because I'll be worthy if I have. Please do this for me because I'll be better if I know, or if I see, or if I experience. Instead of saying, let the goodness that is within me, let the greatness and the sacredness that is in me expand into a reality outside of me. And therefore, I never lose. I don't have to give to get. I only have to expand to gain. And that is a different perspective and manifestation. And a lot of times we go wrong because it's like, I'm doing all of these things, I'm giving up. Some of you may be smoking or drugs, or you're doing some damaging thing to yourself, like negative self-talk or eating disorders, or you may be doing something harsh and harmful. You say, I'm giving up the things, I'm doing the better things because I want the better things, and the better things aren't happening, so I'm giving up. I cannot tell you how many people I talk to that says, Harmony, I'm a good person. I don't know why I don't have this yet. I don't know why this doesn't exist in my life yet. I don't know why other people seem to get ahead or elevated, and I do my best and I try my hardest. But what are you being? What is the foundation that you are setting your blessings up on? Your blessing Boomerang. Mommy's live, booby. Sorry, y'all. I always let that thing sleep in here when I'm getting ready to do my moment, and I always regret it. Mommy mercy. What are the blessings? What is the foundation of blessings, or what is the foundation that I am setting my blessings upon? Is it sturdy? Is it stable? Is it foundational in a way that it will bring more and allow more to fit on where I am right now? And a lot of times we don't have the foundation. We just are hoping and wishing and praying for a miracle, and something great happens, and we're normally not even prepared for it. We're normally not, don't even really know what to do, become afraid and overwhelmed. It's like, oh my gosh, they want to give me this salary. Oh my gosh, they want me to travel to this place. Oh my goodness, they want me to, they're asking me to be a part of this thing, and I don't know if I can do it because the foundation wasn't set. You did not believe that you were worthy, and you did not put things out. The requests were not coming from a place of worth. They were not coming from a place of establishment, from a place of self agency. And therefore, you now are not bringing in the fullest capacity, because where is it going to fit? What is going to hold it? Where is it going to stay? So, understand that giving in good faith is not giving to get. It is not giving to get, it is giving to receive. It is giving, and I know we think get and receive, aren't those the same? No. These are things that I am just reaching for as opposed to things that I am open for. Do we understand the difference in that? Things that I am just reaching for, I just want better, more, new, exciting. You can't hold those things. You don't have space for those things. And you can't fully magnetize those things into an existence for you strongly, stably, securely. But as opposed to what can I grab for? What am I open for? How have I created space for the things that I need most in my life? How have I healed in order to be able to obtain, maintain, and sustain the things that I need and desire most in my life? How can I be most ever so worthy of the beautiful things that I am opening my life up to? And I don't mean be worthy as in get worthy, I mean be worthy as in know, as in understand, as in see yourself in such a way. Blessings, everyone. Thank you so much. Peace, blessings, and welcome. Love and light. How can I move in such a way? So, understanding that manifesting is transitioning treasure. It's me taking the beauty inside of me. It is me illuminating it, acknowledging it, moving it, and working it into an expansive position into my reality. It is transitioning treasure. It is not transactional. It is not giving more affirmations in order to get more good things. It is not listening to certain videos or reading a self help book in order to feel like a better person. It is transitioning treasure. It is to illuminate what I have inside of me to bring in more, to open up more of what I can have, what is more possible for me, right? So, giving in good faith versus giving to get is transitioning treasure versus transaction. I want us to move out of transaction. It is depleting, it is discouraging, it is temporary, and it is harming our abilities to manifest more. So, next comes sowing a sacrifice. Okay. Whew, this becomes a big part. What we just read in the excerpt to start off this moment was about spiritual tithing. And in spiritual tithing, of course, we know about traditional tithing, or what we would call religious tithing. You come in and you give a percentage of your income in order to receive, right? We talk about transition in order to show your willingness of give and take, right? To make it reciprocal. It's an act of reciprocity, or at least that's how it was set out to be. Peace, everyone, and welcome. When we sow sacrifices, because I want to be very clear about this, because again, I know that we're wanting more. I know that this is the last year of a lot of things for a lot of us. I know that a lot of us are no longer being stuck in the small mindsets. I know a lot of us are no longer taking what we can, all we can get, or what we making the best out of worst circumstances. Many of us are more ready now than we've ever been to be our best, to make the best out of our best, to grow our best, to have more of our best, to stop coming out of a lack then mindset and a place of desperation going towards our desires and our and what we deserve. Desperation has no place there. But we live in a society that thrives off of us losing, thrives off of our smallness, of our dysfunctions, of have and the have nots. And we know because there are sayings like dog eat dog, and it's a dog eat dog world, and the crabs in the barrel, and a sucker is born every day. This is the society that we live in. But we are not. We are as above, so below. We're understanding that we are spirit first. I'm always letting everyone know I'm spirit first. There is so much about me in this physical because I love this life, I embrace this life, and I live this life, right? And I love it, right? I love it. But spirit first. I experience this life from a spiritual space because I understand that that's the whole point of it all. It's the point that the reason that we've come here. And then we live in a society that likes to manipulate that and have us working backwards and have us backing down on ourselves and falling through on our desires because we think that what we are feeding is something physical, and what we are feeding is something so much more, something so much bigger. And the things that we want most are are going to fulfill us in that way. So when it comes to sowing a sacrifice, again, I want us to be able to look at the lives when we're asking for a new life, a different version of life, a better type of life. I want us to look at the life we are asking from. Have we started there? A manifestation is not just about opening your mouth. A manifestation is not just opening your mind and your heart. It is opening a reality. It is opening up your reality. And it is saying, I have enough faith, giving in good faith, to change where I am because I know that it will begin to reflect where I am going. I now understand how what I put in place where I am will be the path to where I am going. So when we say sowing a sacrifice, I want us to know that it takes much to get much. If you, this life is so, I believe in ancient Kemetic a spiritual system called Mayat. And I know everyone is not super familiar with it, but it's cultural, and it comes, out of Africa. It comes from the motherland, and it is the law of balance and principle, laws of balance and principle. And we did the 42 laws of Maya in a Moment of Harmony previously. And if you're new, you weren't a part of it, and it's okay. You always can go back. But we live in a nature of balance, right? I'm not even talking about social structures and society and the way when what man has done, but I'm saying a nature of balance. We live in the sea that reflects the sky. We live in dark at night and day, light in day. Saying that life gives what it takes. Life gives what it takes. This is balance, right? This is Mayat. If you want much out of this life, you will have to give much to this life. You will have to give much to your experiences. You will have to give much to your surrounding and your environment. Life gives what it takes. And this is why we never fret when we fall, or we shouldn't fret to the point of not getting back up, or we should never feel at a complete loss when we lose. This is a life of balance if you allow it to be. So When I hear people say, I do this so that I can have someone be this type of person to me. I show up this way and people only treat me this way. Again, the transactional component to manifesting. And it's like, you're not walking into the store at a cashier and saying, hey, I want a better life, and how much money can I give you to get a better life? How many manners can I give you to get a better life? Or how many good deeds can I do to get a better life? That is not what manifestation is. And it's not the type of sacrifice we're talking about when we talk about spiritual tithing. When we talk about, in this part, sowing a sacrifice, we're saying understanding that every single thing that I put out is a communication to the universe. We're in constant communication with the universe. Every single thing I put out is a constant communication. So I want the universe to, let's say, this is transactional, right? When we say, I want, um, we'll say this: life gave me a good marriage, so I help other people's marriages. Life gave me great children, and so I give to the cause of children. Life gave me, I was able to survive. I was able to survive this horrible thing, and so now I help other people survive this horrible thing, right? Like my mom, she helps a lot of families who deal with murdered children. Or I have a best friend who's lost her baby to SIDS, and she does a lot of things for SIDS. And I'm not saying that anything is wrong with when life gives you lemons to make lemonade, or to give back from where your trauma or your pain has come from. Beautiful. I think it's a beautiful thing. Manifesting is different than that, right? Manifesting is not waiting for a reason to give based on what was taken. It is going from, it is not waiting on a reason to give based on what you lost. It is giving based on what you can gain, based on what can come from what you're looking for. So let me just be clearer, right? When we sow a sacrifice, I want us to be more in the mindset of, what is it that I'm looking for, right? I'm looking for peace. I'm looking for generosity. I'm looking for love. I'm looking for care. Right? Because a lot of times when we start manifesting, we do say material things like, oh my gosh, a car, a vacation, this house. But in reality, we know that people get those things and still look. Many of us have grown and transitioned a great deal in our lives, and our material success and our financial gains have shifted. It never stops us from wanting the coreness of life. Those of us that are here, that are like-minded, that are in a better space within self, and I don't mean better than other people, but I mean better than wherever you were, right? Better than where you could be. You came into self saying that, no, these are the ways I want to be in this life. It is definitely not all about what I want to get, or these material gains. In this life, I hear people have all types of things, right? They may not have money and then they have money. They may not have a relationship and then they have a relationship. They don't think that they can have children and then they get pregnant, right? These things are blessings, right? And this is what we're talking about, the blessing boomerang. They're coming to you. The things that you want, the things that you're looking for, the things that you need, if your life is open in such a way, it's coming to you. That's not the hard part. I know it seems like the hard part because you don't have it right now, because you need it so badly, because you want it so badly, but the material and the physical is not the hard part. The biggest part of this, and I don't even want to say the hardest part of this, the biggest part of this is bringing in the spiritual house that holds all the blessings that await you. That's the biggest part of this. So when we talk about sowing as sacrifice, when we're talking about if you want to get, or if it takes much to give, you have to give much to get much, right? Um, if it takes a lot out of you, it's going to give a lot to you. And I don't mean in a sacrificial way, and like you have to be a martyr or you have to give more than you have. What I'm saying is giving to the place of growth, giving to a place of empowerment, giving to a place of improvement. This takes from me in such a way that it gives to me, is what I'm saying. And that's what this life does to us when it comes to manifesting the blessing boomerang. When things are taken from me, or when I am offering, because we're talking about spiritual tithing, when I am offering of myself, I'm offering to give so much to the point of change and growth, not to the point of despair. You know that you're giving the wrong things if you are worse off, if you feel less than, if you don't have what you actually need when it's all said and done, then you're in a worse position, and that's not at all what we came for. What I'm saying is giving to the point of growth. That is sowing in sacrifice. The bigger I have to give towards my manifestation is the is it opens up the velocity of what comes back to me. So when I say sowing a sacrifice, a lot of times, even when we get into fasting and tithing, I know me and the children talk about it a lot. You want to give something that you're not going to be super uncomfortable with giving. Sometimes, I'm not going to say everyone. Some of us get it and you give what you got to give. But, or you go after what is it going to take? What's going to take the most out of me? And it's not a sense of punishment, it's a sense of purging. And when we go into sowing a sacrifice and you're going into calling in whatever it is you are calling to your life, I want you to go from a sense of purge and not punishment. I am sowing the sacrifice. There is love and light that I want to give. There are things that I want to give to people. There's a way that I want to see the world. There's a light that I would like to be illuminated in the place that I live in. And therefore, I give that. I give light when I don't feel like it. I give love when I'm not certain of how it's going to be returned to me. I show up in places where I'm needed, even if I don't always need the places, right? And again, I'm not talking about martyrdom, and I'm not talking about self-sacrificing. I'm talking about purging of self. I'm asking for abundance, and therefore I act in abundance. I'm asking for love, and therefore I act in love. And sometimes acting in love is the most courageous way you could act, right? I am asking for peace, and so I am coming in peace. Oh my gosh, what a sacrifice to come in peace in the life that we live, in the way that people are, in the way that people think. What a seed to sow, to come in peace in the most dysfunctional place there possibly is on the face of the earth, which is where we all are, right? But I want that. I want serenity, and therefore I offer serenity. These things sound so good. They sound so good when we're manifesting. I want love. We say specifically, I want a marriage. You want love. Specifically, I want a family. You want connection. Specifically, I want money. You want stability, security, abundance. You don't have to give money to get money, but you do have to give abundantly to get abundance. And that's what we mean in the sowing of a sacrifice. Life gives what it takes. Give life what it will take for you to have what it is that you will need. Life gives attention. Life gives affection. Life gives peace. Life gives. It gives what it takes. And I'm saying, I know that many of us have had many things taken from us. And that does not just work in a negative context. When life leaves, life comes. People say someone died today. Someone was also born today. Balance, mayat. Someone was came into themselves today. Someone also lost themselves today, right? The balance of things. Life gives what it takes. And my thing is that when you're in a space of wanting more from yourself, even when you've taken things, even when things have been taken from you, even when you are down on yourself or life is just down on you, even when things are hard, give. I want to live an extraordinarily abundant life, and therefore I give extraordinarily and abundant. And I do it sometimes at all costs. I do it by any means necessary. I do it when it doesn't always feel right or great. I still do it because that is the life that I am giving to. Now, everyone, when we think about, again, sowing a sacrifice, when we think about some of the greats and the biggest, and some of my greats and some of my biggest may not be yours, but when we think about some big names and we say Maya Angelou or Michael Jackson, we're talking about those people that lived, that left an undeniable mark on life, right? The way of life, generational mark that they've left. And we say they're Malcolm X, Martin Luther King Jr., we Harriet Tubman. We have these not even born in your century or your era, but they changed the frequency of life, right? When we say these big names, we have to remember what they gave. Did they sacrifice their childhood? Did they sacrifice their freedom? Did they sacrifice their normalcy? Did they sacrifice their fears? Sowing a sacrifice, but look at what they brought into fruition. Look at what reality became because of what they were being able to give. Now, everyone, here becomes the part. Everyone was not sent here, nor does everyone have the desire to leave a mark on the entire world. Right? I just so happen to be one of those people that I know that the mark that I am intended to leave, I can feel the magnitude of it. But that does not mean that anyone else who doesn't want to leave that big of a mark should not be given big sacrifices, should not be taking big risks, should not be doing great growth on themselves. Because even if you did not come here to be a name for generations across the world to hear, you still, I 1000% guarantee that you still came here to leave a massive mark on the lives that you touched. Mommy Mercy. I know, it's okay, booby. It's okay. Give me 1 second. Y'all, I'm streaming live and Beautiful Dream is in here crying. Someone please help us. Mommy Mercy. That's Grandma Mercy, actually. Of course you're going to come. You're going to come right in the middle of my moment. Go ahead, rest your head right there on my leg. You got it. Okay, so you may not be the person that is going to be in the arena, or you feel like you're in an arena. Like, how much do I have to give? How much do I have to purge? How much do I have to release? Because I don't want to, but I promise that you still came here to leave a mark on all that met you, all the paths that you cross. And in order for that to tally up to where you're going, I don't care if you just want healing on your body. I don't care if you want something as small as you just want to retire in peace. You just want to go somewhere and not work as hard. I don't care if what you're asking for seems small to you. What you have to offer is big. And the more, that's all I'm saying about this blessing boomerang when it comes to manifestation, the more you want is the more that you give, is the more that you'll get. And that is how this manifestation thing, manifesting is reflecting on exactly where you are. What I see in the future is coming from within me. There is no one painting my vision unless you're allowing that. There is no one painting my view, my perspective, unless you're allowing that. What I am saying, there's not a movie I saw, and now I just am inserting, cut and paste myself into a scene. I see a life specifically for me that's curated specifically to me. And guess where that vision came from? Guess where that notion came from? It came from you. It came from your experiences. It came from your walk. And therefore, what you sow as a sacrifice. And that brings us to our last and final point, because we're going to get ready to get up out of this moment. That brings us to our last and final point. Understand, I just want to do a quick recap, that when we are giving, we are not expecting for something that's dropping out of the sky. We are transitioning the treasures that are already in us. How do I take this little gold that I have and turn it into the big gold that I see before me? The risk taker that I see before me, the dream maker that I see in my head, the miracle worker that I am cultivating within my spirit and my soul and my belly. How do I take this and turn her, morph her, transition her into that? This is manifesting. It is not giving a couple of affirmations. It is not listening to some high frequency music and meditation in order to get a mansion and a car and a house, right? It is to gain higher levels of myself. That means they already exist. They are already here. And I just have to realize that I am transitioning treasure. I am not transactioning anything for what it is that I want. I'm not giving to get. I'm opening to receive. I'm opening to have. That is manifesting. That's the part that helps us, right? Get where we're going. And then when we start to give, when we start to understand spiritual tithing, we have to understand that every action, every word, every deed, every thought, they are spiritually giving to in order to spiritually get back. That's what every single thing is. Everything I say, every kind word I say to someone, every boundary I put up for someone, every reassuring word or every reassuring deed, every single helpful deed, every investment I make into myself, every single morning I get up at the crack of dawn to improve my health. This is spiritual tithing. I'm giving a percentage of who I am in order for it to sow into a bigger picture of who I'm working to be, who I deserve, the life that I deserve to have. Spiritual tithing is a major component to manifesting. Okay, now, self-defining perfection. Self-defining perfection. I'm so excited to get to this part, right? Because y'all been wilding today. A lot of y'all been wilding on the moment. Grace and mercy, don't worry about it. Here's the thing. Self-defining perfection. Oh, I'm so glad I put this in the moment. A lot of times, we say we want more. We want to get more. We want to gain more peace and blessings, welcome, praise and power, love and light. We say we want to gain more. We want to get a lot of what we want in this world. And again, sometimes, like I said, we think very surface. I want kids. I want a husband. I want a house. I want to live in this type of area. I want my kids to go to this type of school. I want to work this type of job. I want to look this type of way, right? Very surface. Sometimes we go deeper and we say, I want peace. I want flow. I want ease. I want healing, right? We go deeper. Whatever way we choose to begin to approach the leveling up of self, it starts from us defining what we need and what is perfect for us. A lot of people will say, I want to see myself in the perfect relationship. I want to see myself in the perfect home. I want the perfect wardrobe. I want to do the perfect work. I want to feel perfect, right? We're moving towards this perfection. This is where it becomes a problem. This is where our blockages come in manifesting, because we're defining what would be great for us based on a societal perspective, based on traumatic patterns and trying to be in opposition to that, based on everything but self, based on everything but where we are and who we are and what we are right now in the moment. I want to encourage us as we leave out of this moment and we're understanding more spiritual tithing. I want us to greatly tie what we're putting out into what and how we view ourselves. And I want to introduce or share a new way of thinking about perfection. I want us to go into self definition or self-defining perfection. So I hear people say there's no such thing as perfection. No one's perfect. Nothing is perfect. But I want us to look more at what is perfect to me, though. What is perfection to me? There is a vision, there is a version that I see that is just like mwah, perfection. The way she moves, the way she thinks, and how she's healed, and what she's grown into, what she creates, what comes from her, the way the ancestors smile on her, the way the light shines from her, right? There is a level of perfection that is self defining. And I want us to know that, because how can we know what to give? Well, I must say, how can we so sacrifice and we don't know what to give? I want to give a reflection to the universe in the conversations that I'm having with it of exactly what I'm expecting in my life. But if I don't see the perfection that I'm asking for, how can I explain what it is that I am asking for? I'm asking for something I don't see myself. And I don't mean in a faraway dream. I mean in the mirror before you. I mean in the space around you. I mean in the quietness of your own life. Are you the definition of perfection for yourself? So for me, if I could create a human being out of thin air, and I don't mean the way that I've created human beings, because I've co-created human beings, right? But I mean, like, if I made a prototype, it would be me. That's what I want us all to look at. Not arrogantly, not conceitedly, but I'm asking for something great and grand. Have I understood the great and grandness that I'm asking from? The life that I want to come in, I think, is going to be an abracadabra, when more so it will be a reflection of where I am. So if you could create the ideal being, not based on what they say how tall men should be, or how rich someone should be, how skinny someone should be, what kind of work they should do, how someone should behave. I mean, your personal piece of perfection. Is that you? Is that you perfect? You know what? She's perfect. You know what? I think he's perfect. I think he tells the truth. I think she cares about others. I know she gives from a good place. I know how strong she is. I know how valuable he is. I know. And because I know what I'm giving, I now have more control over what I get. Did you see how that puzzle just came all the way together? It is the puzzle of creation. It is the, what is it? It is the cosmology, it is the universal galactic, it is the planets, and it is the stars. Right? It is the sun, it is the moon, it is the birds, it is the sea, it is the ocean, it is the balance, it is universal creation. It is I create what I see. I'll create what I see. And to me, she is perfect. To me, she is God. To me, she is light. To me, she is valuable. To me, she is growing. To me, she gives. She is a soil that you can plant and beautiful things will grow every time. That's perfect to me. And that's what I see in the future. I don't just see me in a house. I don't just see me in a wedding. I don't just see me walking children to school. I see perfection. I see a beautiful being of light, being light in a life of light. Thank you, my love, have you defined perfection for self? We're so busy worried about if the universe is going to give us something perfect. Are we going to get this perfect marriage? Are we going to get this perfect man, this perfect woman, these perfect children? Are we going to get this perfect money, this perfect salary, this perfect bank account, this perfect adventure, this perfect bill of health. Is the universe going to give me something perfect? Have you defined for yourself perfection and radiated that out into the universe, and stop confusing the universe for what is perfect for you? For you. Not the definition of someone else, not the definition of society, not the standard, not a cliche, not a saying what I heard, what I should be, but for you. Have you been able to say, you know what? This would be perfect for me. I don't need diamonds and pearls. I would like a nice house on a beach. I would like to live in a place far away. Or I would like to live in. Have you sat? Because you're asking for things and you're wondering why you're not getting them. And you haven't sat and understood the place that they're coming from. You cannot know what you need to sow when you do not know what it is you have to give. And you have great things to give. I know sometimes you choose to give the negative. Sometimes you choose to give the worst. Sometimes you feel pressured and pulled by this old ugly, nasty society to give ugly and nasty things. But I am here to say, for all of us that came to do the work, for all of us that came from a great place going to an even better, all of us that came on a Moment Harmony to manifest more, I am here to say there is a beautiful place inside of you waiting to be watered, waiting to be planted, waiting to have light shone on it, waiting for the balance of and the beauty in order for you to give even more. Because that's what life will give to you, what it gets from you. And in our manifesting journey, thank you, beloved, I would like us to keep that in mind. Am I who I want to be to have the life that I want? We can't just keep going after what we want. We have to magnetize what we want, what we need. We have to reflect it. I want better, I'll do better. I'll be better. And I'll show all to the universe. I'll have clear communication with my thoughts, with my words, with my behavior. Clear communication of what I expect to come to me. And it will. And then some things will come to me and will say, why is that here? That's not what I wanted. It's what you put out. Work on it. Work on it, improve it, polish it, beautify it, replant it, and grow it again. I love you all so much. I thank you all so much for being a part of a Moment of Harmony today. Thank you all for the algorithm. Thank you all for the boost. The numbers were outrageous. The people were outrageous, but the numbers were outrageous. And I'm super duper grateful for you. I love you all so much. I cannot wait to see you for another Moment of Harmony next week. And before we get out of here, go on and take really good care of yourself. All the prayers out to the parents. We're in the last week of summer as far as those who have to start back to school. We're getting ready for back to school. Y'all praying for y'all. Y'all pray for me. Okay? Go on and take real good care of yourself. Enjoy this warm weather. It's going too fast. Fall is coming so quick, right? And as we get older, it's just all moving quicker and quicker. Know that you are in the last days of a lot of chaos, and you are moving towards many days of abundance. That's how we are going into our days. That's how we're staying in our days. That's how we're waking up in our mornings. Take really good care of yourself. And then, after you've done great and wonderful things for yourself, go on out your way and take really good care of someone else. I love you all, and I mean all. I love you all. I have nothing but love and light to give. Have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you next week on another Moment of Harmony. I'm sorry. Here we go.